Saggy, I chose an item for each sign, but for you, slightly different, actually. Someone sent this to me, and it's a card, and it's what has come to mind for me, for you. And it's this. And I remember when I received it, it was incredibly accurate. You know, when someone sends you something, you're like, oh my God, I know what that means. So there's something here for you. It's an old-fashioned typewriter. It's obviously about communicating something, but I'm kind of getting as well from that communication, it may be something that goes back a while, which, let's face it, March, with all the retrogrades that we've got going on, it's going to be like that, isn't it? So here we have our typewriter. Here we have a message. It's like a message in a bottle. I'm getting channeled you. It's quite nice, actually, because it's very Sagittarian. Standing on that bit where the sea breaks onto the shore with the bottle, slotting in the sort of piece of paper, the scroll with the message, and literally in a very Sagittarian way, like flinging it into the sea. And I like that energy. It feels random, but also important, which can happen when something feels random and important and like you should hold it loosely and like you want to hold on tight all at the same time. Oh God, I'm going to throw a couple of cards for you, Saggy. And we're just going to see where that takes us, to be honest. Oh my God. Okay. Straight off the bat, we've got our old friend, the King of Cups. And of course, he is standing at the shore side. Love that sort of neck piece that he's got that's kind of made of fish scales. Gorgeous, isn't it? His eyes as well. Wowzers. Oof, hypnotic. Okay. This could be a person for some of you. I'm going to do, first of all, a general reading. Underneath that, I do a love reading. So this might come up again in your love reading. I always do an extended love reading. So if you get really into the love reading, it's the first link in the description box. But for now, King of Cups wants to introduce himself. King of Cups is a very interesting king for me. This can represent somebody who, in some ways, knows you well in quite an emotional level. It can be a telepathic level. It's certainly a slightly otherworldly level. Most Sagittarians I know, a bit like Pisces actually, we're both mutable signs. Most Sagittarians I know are communicating with quite a lot of different people in different ways. I never met a Sagittarius that wasn't generally on good terms with exes. And I don't mean that at all in a friends with benefits way. I literally mean that in a all-encompassing, it just feels as if there's room for everybody with Sagittarius. So this could represent a person at work. It can represent a romantic person for you, an ex, a current person, a friend, a sage, a mentor, a teacher even. Because the King of Cups is somebody who is on a really mysterious wavelength with you that you would be hard put to explain to other people. Then, Judgment. Now, we have Mercury retrograde, we have Venus retrograde in March, we have a couple of eclipses, we have a whole lot of other things going on. It's a lot. There's such a lot going on. Okay, I'm watching Australian maps at the moment. I know, so it's going to come out how it comes out. Apologies to anyone who's Australian for my accent. Past, present and future when you've got Judgment, but also, and we will see whether the Six of Cups comes out either in this reading, in the extended, in the love reading, whatever. Judgment together with the King of Cups gives me this otherworldly, back to the future. This is a message that I've been dealing with all my life. / it's weird. Do you remember we said message in a bottle? When I start getting channeled things about messages in bottles, it always means that there is some obscure form of communication going on. Obviously not that you are, talking to somebody via carrier pigeon, although you might be, you are Saggies. But just that there is something mysterious, something a bit hidden. This is somebody... This is not just one person. You will be dealing in March, as a lot of signs will, with all of the things that were not kind of baked off before. So if there is a feeling, or if there is a situation that needs to move along, 2 eclipses, 2 retrogrades are kind of fighting a tug of war with each other. The eclipses, they pull to reveal for me. So especially in the middle in March, on 14th, we've got a full moon lunar eclipse. Full moon lunar eclipses want to reveal, they want to release, they want to show something, they want to open out things that don't really particularly want to be opened out. It's almost like the universe, like giving it a push, forcing the question, forcing the situation. So the retrogrades want to pull back and look at something. And these 2 forces, think of that as agitation. King of Wands just came up for you as well. It's interesting because when those 2 kings come up together, often for me, it's 2 sides of the same person. Introspection, introversion, and like being an extrovert. Okay. This is quite a loaded situation. There's a lot of emotion. Should we look at the cards while I'm talking to you? There's another one down here as well. We'll talk about him in a minute. Yeah, I mean, see how these 2, they're kind of staring each other out as much as the King of Cups. King of Cups never directly looks anyone in the eye. I don't know if you remember, like, depending how old you are, back in the day when we had like the Grattan catalogue. And there used to be, when they tried to get men, because they never knew what to do with men, he was showing you a pair of Farrah trousers or whatever, they'd be looking into the distance. Giving it a look that there was something incredibly interesting on the horizon. And that's what the King of Cups is like, mysterious. King of Wands is just cheeky, just looking straight at you. So he's kind of looking, staring at King of Cups. He's staring at not at King of Wands, but kind of into the distance. And in the middle of them is wedged Judgment. Yeah. What this says to me, obviously you could be dealing with 2 different people, but I don't really get that. What it says to me is you are finding out what someone is really made of. What they really mean, what they're really made of. what is really at stake. Yeah. When you get the Ace of Swords, one moment, my voice is a little delicate at the moment. When you get the Ace of Swords, there is some kind of hint or even promise from the universe that there is going to be some clarity. It's not the kind of clarity you particularly strive and work for. It's the kind of clarity that's an epiphany and it's kind of given. This is the crown chakra. The sword, it pierces the crown chakra. And it's interesting because I've never ever noticed this before, but it's over the sea. You've got like sea, you've got mountains, you've got clouds, you've got all sorts. So for me, this is something becoming very, very clear, transparent even. Cripes. Strong reading for you today, Saji. Okay, the Emperor. The Emperor shows up. The Emperor is all of the four kings wrapped up. Whenever the Emperor does come up, I always ask, what about the father? Because that is in there. You know, that is part of the deal, just is. And that question doesn't always make sense, but it is always necessary. So meditate on that question if you can. What about the father? Sometimes it's about how you deal with, 1 second, I'm going to cough into my microphone. That's better. Phew. Sometimes it's about how you deal with authority and divine masculine in your life. Let's take another card to go with that lovely Emperor. That's okay. I don't want to do that. God. Yeah. So when we get the Nine of Swords, God, we also have the High Priestess going on. Nine of Swords is what keeps you in check, what keeps you in chains, what makes you anxious, but what also dictates your freedom or lack of it. And when we've got the Emperor, that's kind of about that, about authority and about how it can make itself felt. The High Priestess is, as a Sagittarian, the skills that you already have. You have a certain, it's just like a built-in ability to see the wood for the trees. And whatever your situation is here, and it feels like there's some push and pull, and it feels like who's in charge, and also how do I get this message to you and how do you receive it? And why are we going back over something from ages ago? And what's affecting me from my childhood? And how about that father? And epiphanies, realizations on both sides of the fence. We haven't even got to Mr. Porntash here, but we will. So have a look at some love cards for you. I have a feeling this is all kind of wrapped up in one. So we get the Magician. Interesting. The Magician next to the High Priestess. Masculine and feminine energy. There is new wisdom about something in your love life. New wisdom can come in different ways. We've got a page energy, we've got a knight energy. So this can be a message, it can be a small offering, it can be an apology, it can be a nudge, whatever it is. Small, it's Page of Cups, it's nice because it's kind of an offer. But it's also quite low key. And I did get with that message in a bottle, and that I'm getting a channel that I sometimes get, which is on an iPhone, you can do a thing called invisible ink that I've never understood. And of course, me being me, I've done it by accident before, where you sort of, you do your message and it disappears like Harry Potter, invisible ink. And I got that channel for you at the beginning of this reading with the message in a bottle as well. The Magician has interesting ways of communicating because it's as above, so below. You've got like a sort of telepathic 5D thing going on with somebody. And it's going to creep into the 3D, but only via a message in a bottle. Gosh. No wonder so many of you ask me when your reading's coming. I can see this is quite a lot. Right, I always get the Queen of Wands for you, or I have done. Oh, look, yes. I have done for the last 6 months or so. You got to take control of this situation, Saji, or it will take control of you. And as we have discussed a few times recently, there's no one sadder than a controlled Sagittarian, which is why I'm wondering about this authoritarian emperor, father, shackles, your mental limitations. Because your only limitation here is the mental limitation of where you've come from, where you want to go, as opposed to where you are going. Queen of Wands is like the diva queen, and she just sort of acts like the king and doesn't care, basically. It's you if you don't care. And I think for you, the solution here, or the way forward at least, while all this muck and mystery is going on about you or around you, or because of you or to you, or even from you a bit, is to fake it till you make it if you're not confident. But just to be the Queen of Wands, just to be in that energy. Sagittarius is an incredibly lucky sign to be. It's really blessed. So just enjoy it. And just know that you will figure this out. Probably not in March, because March is the month in which March is the month I'm imagining now just a white canvas, and it's Jackson Pollock month, and everyone just throws colours at it. And in April, you get to stand back like the artist and look at what you've done. But for now, get into that diva energy. Don't be afraid of it at all, because there's all sorts of jiggery pokery going on. Yeah, look at that. 6 of Wands, winner, chicken dinner, or vegan alternative. All sorts of jiggery pokery going on with the 10 of Wands as well. Okay. We'll keep 10 of Wands in the corner. I don't care what Dirty Dancing says. It's 10 of Wands. Drop the burden of responsibility for this. You're not responsible. You can't control it. You're getting a message. It's a message in a bottle. Those things are weird, but also exciting and adventurous. 7 of Pentacles, Mr. Porntash leaning on his hoe. is just telling you or reminding you, because Sagittarians, you can be a little bit impetuous, to take things steady because it is a mad month. And also your situation is a little bit crazy and a little bit confusing, but also you're a little bit vulnerable in it. And also March is the month for you to break the chains. In the extended reading, I'm going to have a look at that message in a bottle. I'm going to have a look at the Magician, the King of Wands, the Judgment card. I'm going to look at your person, the other side of things, how they might feel or act, and see what we get. Channeled messages. Well, that's nice. Open your heart to receive the abundant love the universe has to offer. Oh my God. And true love. A deep and enduring connection that goes beyond superficial attraction. See, it was worth waiting for, that message in a bottle. If you want the extended reading, first link in the description box. I'm going to go there now. See you on the other side. Namaste, Saji.